Mailbag time, a few things in here. Don't know what any of this stuff is, we'll find out. Well, I think I know what this is, but the rest of it, not so much. First item, I'll give you links down below in the description if I can give you links for things, as always. First challenge to get out of the bag. Batteries. Right, these are options I've got for repairing a piece of equipment I've got. These are 7.4 volt lithium iron phosphate batteries, 700 milliamp hours apparently. And these are obviously 2 cell batteries. So you've got the main power terminals here, and these will be for determining cell voltages here, or something. I don't know, I guess I'll figure it out. I've got a piece of test gear which needs 2 7.5 volt batteries, interestingly, and lithium iron phosphate does the build quite nicely based on voltage, and it should be good enough for capacity as well for what I intend to use it for. For some reason it's double packaged, don't know why. I saw this featured on someone's channel. I don't remember who it was that featured it now. But it's a little voltage source. That's what they referenced voltage was measured as. And sometimes having multiple voltage sources is a good thing. For comparisons and giving you a bit of confidence in what you're measuring, multiple checks is always a good thing. So apparently this measuring 7.04617, 10.00042 volts. So it's not exactly high resolution, is it? I'm expecting more resolution than that, and that's at 19.2 degrees C. I mean, it should really be like 21 to 23 degrees for reference, and maybe another digit. It's an NN399, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's, in a way, I'm a bit disappointed in that, because this temperature is way too low for really making it particularly useful. I don't think I'll recommend that, even if it does work. What is this? Okay. Right, it's a battery. Now, this one was actually a mistake. Well, kind of. I purchased this one, then I realised actually I need 2 batteries, which is why I ended up buying these. And then I realised this one, I probably can't fit 2 of these in the cavity where these need to go. So I've got a spare 7.4 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. If it looks like I can fit 2 of these in there, I'll buy a second one. But right now I don't really have much use for it, and while I've got this, I don't know. Weird. So I've got a bag of bags. Earpiece receiver. Oh right, this is a spare for something. This is a spare piece for a Samsung phone. There's 2 of those in there. So these are earpiece parts for Samsung phones. So I was doing a repair on someone's phone recently, and I had to change the whole phone frame around, and when I went to go and take the speaker out, it was stuck and it fell apart when I was trying to get it out. So the actual earphone speaker, which is what this is, needs replacing. I've got 2 because you always need a spare. Phone loudspeaker, Samsung A12 and so on, and a whole bunch of others. Same deal. This is the proper loudspeaker. This is the speaker at the bottom of the phone which is loudest. So I've got those as well. So I've got the earpiece speaker and I've got the big ones as well, just in case they end up being needed. They're cheap, you know. There's hardly any cost to them, so I thought I'd just get a couple. Charging port board, same deal. This is just the bottom board for one, because the one I've been working on, the bottom board is actually a little bit corroded. Now it wasn't looking too bad, but I thought I'd get a spare board for it as well, just in case. Just in case it does fail one day. Again, this was cheap, so I thought it was good insurance. I got this big bag. Bit of a mystery, this one. Ah, right, okay. Nothing too exciting here, but these are vacuum cleaner parts. So you've got a new main filter, we've got some secondary filters, got 5 of those, and then we've got some bags, which will hopefully, yes they do, have that part on them. So these are for the Miele cat and dog vacuum cleaner, the C3 I think it's called. We've only got one bag left. So I thought I'd get some from China and just see how they go, because these are less than half the price of buying them in a shop locally for more of them. So we'll see how they go. Might be rubbish, might be alright. Now we have this. This, if it's the thing I think it is a rather expensive little device. Once I figure out how to get into it, it's kind of like... No, let's do that. Here we go. I've been seeing a lot of talk about the new Mac Minis being pretty grungy little machines, and I'm kind of tired of dealing with these older machines. It's like, I haven't bought a brand new Mac since 2008. That was the last brand new Mac I bought, and that was a Mac Pro 2008. Every Mac I bought since then has been second hand and required upgrades and repairs and whatever it may be. I was really reluctant to buy another brand new Mac, but I've got to the point now, it's like I've had enough. I was going to buy one which would do me for a period of time. So I bought this one. Now this isn't the bottom of the range one. Here it is. So they say you get a Mac and you get an accessory pack. Oh, what's so good about the accessory pack? The accessory pack, which is, you know, a main feature, it's a power cable. That's all you get, power cable and a Mac. Wish they could, you know, chuck a few more things in there. Anyway, so literally torn it. There you go. The Mac Mini. Here it is. So it's got Thunderbolt 5 ports. This is the M4 Pro version, not the base model one. So I spent a lot more money on this than I really wanted to. The base model one was like just over $1,000 in New Zealand, and that's what I was tempted by originally. I was thinking, well, it only comes 256 gigabytes of storage space, and that's nowhere near enough for me. I was thinking, okay, let's look at the upgrades for storage, and it's like, as Apple do, their extortionate prices for any upgrades. So as soon as you start adding on a bit more RAM and a bit more storage to make it a workable machine for sort of thing that I do, which is video editing, then it's like, well, I might as well get the Pro model because it works out about the same price. So you get the better CPU and stuff like that as well. So this is the Pro model, or the M4 Pro model, with the upgraded CPU and upgraded RAM. It's got 48 gigabytes of RAM in it, and it's also got a 1TB hard drive, so it's done a few upgrades on it. The SSD I would have liked to have had even bigger. I would prefer 2 terabytes, but the prices were ridiculous. So I've only got a size which I can manage with, and hopefully by the time I get sick of managing with that, there'll be an upgrade path available to actually upgrade the SSD in these things. It's not a standard SSD because the controller's built into the CPU. So it's not like a normal SSD, you drop in new SSD and off you go. These are custom things, you know, proprietary, as Apple tends to do. But 1TB is manageable for me. I could certainly work with that, and I use external storage anyway. I've got an 8TB external drive, which is half full, to give you some idea, plus a NAS and other bits and pieces. So 1TB for me is a bit tight. I've been using a Mac Pro 2013 for nearly a couple of years now actually, and that hovers around 1TB of usage. Changing my workflow means I can actually drop that down quite a bit. So I've actually already reconfigured my system and the way I work on things, and I've saved about 300 gig from that. So I'm now hovering around 650 gigabytes of usage, which means it's within capacity of this thing. This thing here was not cheap, so with all the upgrades, to get it to a point where it's usable for me, it's $4,000 New Zealand. Most of that is because I need to do video editing, which is, you know, the YouTube. You watching this right now, it's your fault that I had to spend so much money on a computer. just tapping the thing down there says thanks, that little money thing. Just donate me some money to help pay for this computer, that'd be great. But anyway, this should do me for a long time, I hope. that is the plan. Now the only problem is all of my computers right now have USB-A ports on them, and this is all USB-C, so I've got to do some reconfiguring of my systems to be able to plug my USB-A equipment into this thing. Not a big deal. I might have to get some more docks and stuff, but I think I've got enough now to actually get it working. Anyway, subscribe over there if you're already subscribed. Other videos to watch down below there. And there's a Patreon support link over there if you want to help donate the channel and help me to cover the cost of this computer. I mean, I've already paid for it, but it's a bit of a sting. Catch you later. I'm going to finish recording this video and I'm going to go and play with this thing.